Well, if it was decided that we weren't going to record, I'd be okay with it. But
No.
if you want to be recorded, this is going to be fun. The episode that I edited today will go live on January 1st, 2024. So I have something of a buffer. I am not hurting for episodes. I like this trend. Also, from the moment I started talking, I had already pressed the record button.
Excellent. Does this mean I should go into a launch?
I mean, you can if you want to. Shall we count down?
I probably...
Do you have your spacesuit on?
Try it.
Ground control to Major Beth.
What, I'm only a major? I want to be a muff.
You're the GM. You're all the
muff.
ranks.
No, wait. I'm the GM. This means I'm the entire dadgum Dark Council. Oh no, budget week. It's the worst. And on that note, hi, this is Beth with a GURPS Wars Halloween special, where everyone is going to be an apprentice to a Sith in the Star Wars online SWTOR sphere of logistics. The sphere of logistics is generally in charge of collecting taxes. And it has to be a sphere with Sith in it, because Sith in other spheres don't like to pay their taxes sometimes. And they twist the heads off of droids, and they mind trick people, who come in and try to say, hey, taxes, so you have to send a Sith. Well, in this case, it's going to be 3 apprentice Sith. Because... where's my list? Here's my list. Because Darth Chardanak, who is the master to at least one of you apprentices, and you might be apprentices to his vassals. It probably doesn't matter very much. You can decide that on the fly. Wants to find a certain Darth of Mysteries named Darth Simont, and who hasn't been paying his taxes. And to do this, you have been called in, and you are, let me just get the list here, Antuxia, Randach, and Senoi. And would you like to introduce yourselves?
It's dog.
Senone.
And
you should already know who I am.
Ellie. And Ran is Crash. And Sen is Eo.
Mm-hmm.
And for the first thing, you are going to be given, which I'm going to paste into Discord, an actual little file to your data pads that you can open as a PDF, or I can copy paste the whole thing and it will be big and annoying. And yes, that's the right one.
It takes a bit longer to sign in because we have to also sign off multiple terms of service agreements in order to get to the UI.
It's been known to happen. Let me just paste my message is too long. It's tragic.
Well, while you're doing that, I will point out that we will not be discussing how we are recording the Halloween episode in November in order to have it go live in January. Late January. There will be no discussion about it. We're not even going to bring it up.
Blah, blah, blah. I get the rest of those in. Yes, I can get the rest of those in. Okay. It's actually in a text form with the PDF interspersed weirdly, but...
So there's a Darth Chardonnay?
With that. Chardonnay.
Oh, is that like when you mix Chardonnay and cognac?
Probably. He's very, very defined.
As someone who doesn't drink, I have no idea about any of this. For all I know, that's an actual beverage that one can imbibe and not go blind.
I'm just thinking that this will be much worse if he's drunk.
He is not
Or much
drunk,
better.
Thankful. You don't know, at least he doesn't seem to be drunk.
Well, it depends. Is he an angry drunk?
That's why he's red.
If he's an angry drunk, then he will be a way more powerful Sith.
I mean, he's a Sith. He knows how to harness his anger and store it up in a nice little ball in his chest. And if he doesn't want to actually damage people he's around, well, you're in this nice penthouse office, and there's just these rows of pretty little knickknacks. that you just know that if he gets upset, they are designated as what he breaks instead of people he doesn't want to break, actually. I mean, he would very much want to break the people, but then you have to go to the hospital and you can't be sent on a mission.
I just assume that if he's really angry at us, we'll be having to file more paperwork about exactly what we did wrong. And the pricing and logistics of procuring a new replacement knickknack, because it somehow accidentally on purpose broke over top of my head for saying something that I wasn't supposed to say.
Sometimes these things, they happen. Anyway, you're being given a data pad that the Empire keeps reasonably good track of those who are believed to have been on the planet called Thrusher, which is where your quarry was last known to be, and has been getting shipments of food and stuff delivered there. So probably he's still there, doing some sort of mysteries things. For people who don't know the spheres in SWTOR, SWTOR, the online one, mysteries, they have a black budget. Everyone hates them, especially logistics, frankly, because it's like, why is your budget like this? Oh, you're not telling me. It's a mystery. Yeah, cute. That was cute the first time, 3 times you said it.
Did you at least keep your receipts? You have receipts. They have receipts, guys. This is half of a receipt. It's burned. It's the half of the receipt that you've given me is a pile of ash.
That's mysteries for you. But you see, they have determined that Darth Simont owes over 50 K-creds, according to recent accounting, due to some interesting financial obfuscations that were recently untangled. He has a reputation for living very well, lots of parties. He's a social Sith some of the time. It's very likely he's been spending money that wasn't his. Mysteries can sort out whose money that actually was. Logistics just wants the taxes. And if you could go digging around his financial records and try to get the real books, he might owe more. That would be great. Yes, his accounting practices are a mystery. That is exactly the problem. He has a droid designated 43 AGD that keeps house. He has 2 hired servants, a general secretary named Furman Darag and a cook named Sekja. With him are known to be, or suspected to be, a Chiss woman who goes by O'Neill. I'm not going to actually pronounce all of her name. One of the PCs can do that. She's suspected of being an assassin. She's either banished from the Chiss ascendancy, she's working for them, she's AWOL, who knows? She was assisting Darth Simont in his financial chicanery and owes the Empire 10 K-creds. Private Vanel Caro, retired, was Darth Simont's personal friend before he managed to get out of the front lines, and he brought her along. Allegedly, she doesn't owe anything, but she might have insight into his finances. Lieutenant Ugo Anslet, Reclamation Service, that's the Empire's archaeological people who go around digging for ancient weapons and other such things. Part of Darth Simont's levy, nominally in service and not retired, was last seen spending more money than he reported on his taxes. Might have been his money, might have been someone else's. Find out. Commander Cheldamus, retired, does not owe anything that logistics knows of, but considering the company he's keeping, since he was once in a mysteries levy before he retired, he may have hidden assets that should be taxed according to the bracket that those assets will put him in. And finally, Iana Maked, daughter of business owners, taste for flirtation, extravagant, expensive items. Her parents managed to cancel her credit lines, but not before she'd gotten herself a berth to Darth Simont's little estate on planet Thrusher, thanks to her winnings in a Hutt casino. She never paid taxes on them. She owes approximately 2,000 credits. Are there any questions?
Not from me.
How old is the private?
Private Caro? She is young adult. She's retired because he pulled strings. Low 20s.
So it's the thing that they have going on.
That cut out, I'm sorry.
So it's a fairly recent thing that they have going on.
Well, the Treaty of Coruscant was signed pretty recently, within the last few months. This is part of why everyone would like to actually. Logistics has the manpower to hunt down people who aren't paying their taxes. And the whole war was really expensive. We need more taxes. It's a wonderful little confluence of events. But yeah, this was a recent fling, pretty much.
Multiple people are typing.
It happens. Let's make this ownership. Players are observers. Actually,
Theo asks, is this an IC briefing right now? An in-character briefing?
sort of a bit of both, but yes, you can ask any questions you wish of.
Would Ran already know if this is... I'm sorry. I thought I heard Ellie saying something.
No, I was being ridiculous.
Okay. Well, that was still something. I mean, how often am I ridiculous when I'm the GM? Would Ran already know if this situation where, so long as we get the taxes, it's fine? Or is this a situation where, and if you can make an example of them, that would be good too?
The moment it is, if you get the taxes, that's fine. If they, you have a skill for this. You have bureaucracy skill, right?
As I lean away from the microphone, I've got administration.
You ought to have, let me just do a quick little, professional skill, that's the one. Professional skill, logistics, bureaucracy. You got a crit success. Okay, you should try to just get the stuff without causing a cross-sphere incident, but if you are hampered, you basically escalate to whatever is needed.
And for the record, that was Ellie's character making that roll that got a crit success. I can't find that skill on my character sheet.
The heck? It's under professional skill.
Ah.
You, not so much.
I failed by a number that I cannot read.
4.
Okay, these bifocals, let me tell you.
Fun stuff. Okay, okay. Antuxa knows. Ran, you should get the stuff, and you're getting it from another Darth, so making an example is probably not in the cards. You can ask. You know that you don't know. You have not crit failed. You are not certain of the wrong thing.
Well, we wouldn't be making an example of the Darth. We'd be making an example of the organization underneath them, which apparently doesn't even have, an org tree. Did they even file the paperwork for the proper form to use an org tree, or did they just decide,
It's Sith. These things, they happen. It's mysteries. You just sort of assume that mysteries is going to be mysterious. So, do you have any questions for Darth Chardonnay?
Should we be concerned that the Bucephalus is calling out to one of the apprentices?
What?
And Tuxa gets divine inspiration. I want to be clear, that wasn't me. I was trying to find skills to fail.
I guess that Antuxa was selected. Oh, you were made the character for the owner for Bucephalus at one point, probably. So
I think I made everyone the owner of Bucephalus. So it's really funny that it was added to the map as a trophy.
Yep. If there are no questions, are there any questions? Last chance.
How are we intended to get to Thresher?
You have tickets.
Oh. Sorry.
I have an out-of-character question.
Very well. I will have an out-of-character answer.
I completely missed what question started the rolling of bureaucracy.
Are we just meant to get the taxes, or are we meant to make an example?
My lord, what do we do if people there initiate hostilities? Are we allowed to cause an incident then?
Yes. He says, tersely. Do whatever seems appropriate for the type of hostilities that you are given. If he winds up dead, try to recover enough of his workings that we can sell them to ancient knowledge instead and recover the amount for the taxes.
Yes, my lord.
As you wish.
Are there any other questions? If not, go. You have tickets.
Multipass.
You will be catching a light cruiser that is going to be patrolling in that area. It is going to be dropping you off and moving on. You can get to the station and you will have a little bit of time to do any of your own research if you do so desire. Do you wish to attempt to look things up, talk to people on the station about rumors, whatever?
Well,
I'll figure it out when I get there.
he has fancy parties, apparently. Maybe people on the station know what sort of people he's inviting.
Okay.
I mean, we know who he's got right now, but
Since you are presumably talking amongst yourselves as you are taking the shuttle up to the station to wait for the ship that will take you on into hyperspace, does anyone have what they consider an appropriate skill to look into that? Otherwise, it's going to be IQ -5.
I do. Savoir-faire, high society.
Okay. Good. Okay. You can tap some rumor mills, and you're trying to figure out what kinds of people get invited.
Yes.
He likes to invite people who will be appropriately admiring of him, and he'll accept just about anyone who is friendly to him and or has some small amount of force ability. There are at this point in the Empire two types of recognized force ability, which is force sensitive. That's what you all are, sometimes called force active, and force attuned, which is basically little tiny tricks like you're lucky or you just get a feel for people. It could mean that you will eventually have a force breakthrough and actually have power, or it could mean that you just are always going to have this one dinky little talent. He likes force attuned people too. He likes people who have ties to the sphere of mysteries and archaeology and poking into old things that he probably shouldn't be poking into. Mysteries is very big on finding things man was not meant to know and putting them in a crypt somewhere and hiding them away forever. Ancient knowledge hates this because ancient knowledge wants to document it and write a paper, an academic paper. No one's heard from him for a while. You ask around, your little emails, no one's really heard from them. Maybe the place got overrun by Sith spawn or something, dark force created monsters. Yeah.
we're
Or
heading to the station.
First, you're going up to the station, and then you will meet with the light cruiser that's going to take you on through hyperspace to the planet.
Okay. So the Empire's keeping reasonably good track of people who are going there.
Reasonably. It's not perfect. If somebody went there on, their own reconnaissance somehow, or if a mysteries ship went there without filing the right flight plans, curse them. You're fairly sure that all of those people have gone there. You are not 100% certain that all of them will be there, and there could be other people if they didn't bother to file the right.
All been out of contact?
Yes.
Okay.
No one has been heard from that planet. And considering the whole Iana thing, Antuxa, sorry, you would know. There were people who were saying that no, they have not heard from Iana, who was kind of high-profile gossipy. Can you believe she did that? Anything else?
Understood.
Well, this is a fascinating thing. Maybe we'll get there and find out that he sacrificed them all in some a horrible ritual and, I don't know, displayed their bodies all around his estate as a conversation piece?
On the way there, we need to have a discussion about what you consider to be fascinating.
Well, that's the kind of thing Mysteries does, isn't it?
I wouldn't know. I never filed the proper paperwork to find out.
It's the kind of thing you hear about them doing. Well, you hear rumors about people thinking they're doing that. I don't know. I think it would be exciting if they were doing that.
Everyone should note that Senoni
Uh-huh.
is a Twi'lek, and at this particular era of the Empire, alien apprentices, by the standpoints of the Empire, like Twi'leks, are very rare. Meanwhile, Antux is a pureblood and ran as human. Just so everyone knows, who can't see the little icons. Anyway, Sen may not actually know a lot about the Empire except for which gender did you pick? What their
gender is unknown. It might be yes.
Ah, yes, the two genders, yes and no.
They basically.
The three genders, yes, no, and maybe. But only if you've gone to school in the last 10 years. Education is a slow-moving dinosaur.
You hear
like
all
it.
sorts of things about them. They've got these crypts, and they might be doing anything down there.
Yes, like
And I've never seen
not
a
paying
blood
their taxes.
ritual.
I tend to not see blood rituals because lightsabers tend to cauterize things.
The knives are for.
There are blood rituals in the Holovids.
You and I watch very different holovids.
Well, what kind of Holovids do you watch?
Well, you know, the usual. Military tactics, recreations and documentaries of past victories and failures, you know, things to analyze. Not to mention all of the wonderful tutorial vids that cover filling out various forms. They are fascinating.
So you watch the kind of Holovids that I keep getting assigned as homework.
You get homework? What form did you fill out for that?
There weren't any forms involved in that.
Are you sure you're in the sphere of logistics?
So don't make you fill out the paperwork when you're the spoils of war.
But that's half the fun. And Tuxa, tell them that's half the fun, right?
It was so lovely to catch up with you. Please do let me know if he has a party in the next 3 weeks that I can be invited to. I'm very sorry. What was this about?
Oh, you were socializing again.
Yes, it's what I do.
Seems to think that I should have filled out paperwork for being a spoil of war. Instead of, my first master should have and didn't.
So, someone filled out the paperwork for you?
No, someone didn't fill out the paperwork and I got repossessed.
Oh, well, that does seem troublesome, but also not particularly a responsibility.
Right, exactly.
Anyway.
Bringing any other attempts to find leads? Do you have any other attempts to find leads?
Unless there's a form
not
for
until
it.
we get to the until we get to the planet that we're heading to.
All right. The ship
Unless the crew of the ship that we're taking has any information about anything weird going on around the planet.
An interesting question. The ship that you're taking is the light cruiser Leah Shar 2. It with Captain Vassio.
Oh, that seems inauspicious.
Well, you never know. It might just mean it was very successful, so they made it again. Or, maybe it's Leah Shar 2 was, their name, child of Leah Shar 1. Unclear.
Or maybe it's not Shar and then the number 2. Maybe it's Shar 2.
No, it's definitely the numerals 2. You are welcomed on by the captain himself, who looks at you with dour respect because, well, you're Sith apprentices. Of course mere soldiers are supposed to look at you with respect, right? Slight double take at the Twi'lek one, but hey.
You should respect anyone who has the ability to cut you in half and then make you fill out the paperwork for the expenditure
Yes, indeed.
after you are cut in half.
I think usually you have to do that in the other way around if
Depends on
you
where
actually
you
want
divide
to
them.
fill out the... What way are you dividing people in half that they're capable of filling out forms after?
Look, if you cut them through the waist, they can survive for several minutes. They have to write fast.
Should I worry that Crash is getting into the Sith thing too much?
You know I've
You
played
get them to
most
stop
villains you've
screaming
encountered in
and
our
fill
games
out
together.
the paperwork.
Sorry, what was that?
Sorry.
Look, it's very simple. I'll tape the pen to your hands. Here you go.
Because, okay, what I said that was at the same time as what Crash said was, how do you get them to stop screaming and fill out the paperwork?
Force choking usually helps. The trick is to not squeeze so hard that they can't breathe, but just restrict the airway enough that they know that you will restrict it further.
I'm so grateful that you've allowed us passage aboard your ship.
I'm just imagining the rest of the
Extra
crew
to
hearing
my
this
lord.
conversation.
Oh, probably. This sounds perfectly Sithy to them. A bit of they're being a bit sort of staying away from you people, but
Pretending they're not hearing this obviously private conversation.
obviously. Captain says, "So, my lords, shall I escort you to your quarters?"
That would be lovely. Thank you.
This
You've been
way.
patrolling this route regularly?
Moderately, regularly, my lord.
So if any ships were doing weird things around here, you might have noticed?
Hopefully, my lord. Sometimes ships can sneak in between passes.
And when was the last pass?
About a month ago.
So you wouldn't have noticed if people were sneaking in and out recently. All right.
That
I
would
would
certainly
not have
be-
noticed that one.
Yes, that would certainly be in the wheelhouse of the local defenses, not someone making a circuit journey.
We haven't been escorting supply ships to the planet for a few months now.
That's interesting.
It's
But
not
how
a
does that
regular thing.
How
Yes,
does that
what?
compare to... No, this is out of character. How does that compare to how long Simon's been out of contact?
About that long?
Okay.
I mean, he hasn't been paying his taxes for longer, but
Sure.
he hasn't even been putting his email on red for about that long.
How much of that email is spam? It's a mystery.
Well, I mean, it's mysteries. Who knows? The parts that,
Fascinating. Thank you for your time.
of course, my lords. Wow, he's dour. Okay. Actually, almost all of you.
Did you
He's
roll for dour?
Pretty much. Pretty much. Okay, well, that certainly is a thing. All right. Unless you people are going to actually work on social skills to try to make him warm up to you, he's just going to be polite and leave you alone. And anyone who wants to make a vibes check, which is part of your Sith powers, it's part of having the Force, is you have a kind of sort of empathy ability. Not quite as powerful. It's
So
a
Sith can
homebrew. I
roll
get
for
to
a
do
vibe
this.
check.
I believe that might even be on your character sheet under, yes, empathic vibes. It's an IQ -3.
Did I
It doesn't let me
roll
click to roll.
a skill?
I think you just roll the dice, roll your IQ, and if you make it by 3, then I tell you things.
No, I mean, I have skills that might apply. Can I roll one of those?
Oh yeah, sure.
I have detect lies and I have psychology. Which one should I roll?
Psychology.
Okay. That is still better than IQ -3. It said IQ -2. That was not a success, though.
He's probably cranky because you're a Twi'lek.
Oh, wait. Is
How-
it IQ -3 or perception -3?
Perception -3. Thank you. That's very. I need to probably edit my thing.
In that case, that was still a failure, but I should have been rolling against the 10.
Psychology is a perfectly reasonable thing. Fail by 1. Yeah, okay, so
How about savoir-faire
Okay.
military?
do it. If you want to try to make nice with him.
Well, I made it by 6.
Okay. Making it by 6, I assume you're going to say the appropriate things about understanding his job, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, yeah.
And
Well, I try to match the dourness without trying to act like I'm trying to overdo the dourness. It's not a dourness contest. We both recognize our skills at being dour and respect that. we just sort of like partial nod at each other while we are frowning heavily.
he gives you the sort of nod that, okay, the dourness, some of it lifts and it turns into more of a taciturn kind of respect. If you wish to attempt to get any further information out of him that you think he might give you, if he likes you better, please feel free to do so.
I don't know what to ask. I've already gotten the answers that I would have asked about, like how often does he make the runs? They haven't made that run in a month. They haven't done any supply runs in several months. And they used to be a regular thing, but they stopped. Somebody wasn't paying the bills or checking his email. Well, space email.
Okay, basically, I will let that roll, since it was made by 6, that's pretty decent. Unless you're going to go do things like randomly execute his crew or something, you can keep that for the whole trip, which is going to be a couple of days, which... Right.
I mean, I brought the forms for that just in case, but I don't anticipate having to. Not with a fine captain like this. I'm sure he knows his crew.
Indeed. Right. You'll have basically a couple of days to sniff around, ask for rumors, make appropriate rolls to do so, and before you get to the to Planet Thrusher. What were you saying?
Antuxa?
Yes.
So if they haven't been getting supplies recently, I feel like we should be doing math to see if they should have, like, had to leave or starve or something.
Probably a good idea.
And, I mean, I'm looking at the information we've got, but, look, I'm not making any sense of this. I say rolling against the target number of 6.
Oh, dear.
You're very recently brought into the sphere, and you are aware that the skill exists.
What do we know about
someone else roll against it?
What do we know about the Planet Thresher?
Yes.
What can I look up on that? Like,
The Planet Thresher.
do they even need
research
supplies?
roll.
A research roll.
If you
Do
don't
I
have a research roll,
skill?
You do.
I'm glad everyone else knows my character sheet better than me, and that's. I'm complaining about my lack of
I'm
ability
looking
to
at it.
read this. Research TL 11. Okay.
yep.
I don't know much about history.
Okay, missed by 1. What you can find is that the Planet Thresher is a uninhabited world that had a small outpost beacon put up on it during the war. Basically, it's a habitable world, kind of, if you really like swamps. And therefore, you could, like, get air if you needed to get down and actually get some air tanks. And it's got a lot of water, so probably they could stick a water purifier on it and use it for that. Yay? That's what you can find with a miss by 1.
Now
Name
you
is
see,
Thresher. It's a planet. It's a swamp world.
this is why I'm glad Antuxa's with us, because Antuxa, please help me out. You are the one who is more of a people person. Why would you throw a party there?
Well, no one can get to it. That's the entire point. If you have a party in a place where no one can get to it, then only the people you want to be there can show up. It's an honor to be invited.
And usually the swamp stays outside the estate.
That too. Unless, of course, they're going for some sort of, I don't know, Dagobah theme.
I don't think any of us would know about Dagobah, but I like the reference anyway. Well, I suppose we should keep in mind that if things go form 817B, we could always find a way to let the swamp in.
Would that help?
Well, it would not help them, which should be the whole reason for dealing with it if they invoke Form 817B.
Would it help us?
Nerf Rampage?
Oh, no, that's 817R. Very close.
Oh, you're correct.
Are you going to try to pump anyone on the ship for information?
I think I'm likely to stay in our stateroom and meditate.
Okay. Someone who has Savoir-Faire military could probably go pump people for information. It works on all of the military, not just the captains.
I'm going to stay in here where no one is staring at my lackey.
My character has the downside of being chummy, yet selfish.
Mm-hmm. You like to hang out with people, but not people who might insult you.
Well, also, I like to hang out with people and think that I'm entitled to be able to do certain things, which, as a Sith apprentice on a Sith ship, I do get some of that. But I'm imagining that my character may or may not, and this may require a roll, be getting in the way of crew performing their duties because I want to hang out and talk shop.
Give a savoir-faire roll to see if you can satisfy your desire to hang out with them without actually interfering with their duties too much.
Hey!
Made by 6, again.
Apparently I am a people person.
You are a people person. You know when to hang out with these people and when you need to get out of the way, and you can wave in this friendly manner, and honestly, they are really fond of you, and you are actually picking up some more rumors. You know, they are willing to... Unfortunately, these appear to be rumors that Thresher had a force plague, like one that took over this ancient culture a long time ago, and they got plague, and none of them could use the force anymore. And another one thinks that they're pretty sure that he got too many guests and they found things out. So the Dark Counselor for Mysteries told him to execute half of them and turn the rest of them into Sith spawn. And one of them is extremely worried that the planet was secretly taken over by the Republic and it's crawling with assassins from Republic, Jedi assassins from Republic military.
So, to get this straight, half of the population was killed by an ancient force plague. What was the third thing again?
One of them is that half of them were executed for knowing too much because mysteries, and the other half were turned into Sith spawn, which is a word for basically what happens when biotics or whoever decides to grab some perfectly random normal monstrous animal and shove dark force energy into it and make it more intelligent and usually meaner.
So half of them were killed by an ancient society of plagued Sith spawn.
Right. And one of the other rumors is that obviously Thresher was taken over by the Republic. It's crawling with Jedi assassins and Republic military.
Half of them were killed by an ancient society of Republican Sith spawn. That tracks.
Ran, did you find out anything good?
Well, how interested are you in unsubstantiated rumors?
Oh, I love unsubstantiated rumors.
I share. Now, you gave me 4 different rumors, if I remember correctly. I share 7 of them.
And Tuxo, what are you rolling for?
Figure out how to roll.
Ah, okay. Is that what the failure by, not figuring out how to roll?
Yes.
Failure by...
And Tuxa no longer knows how to roll. That was a crit failure on learning how to roll.
Crit failure on Foundry.
Your dice fall
Your
off.
Foundry roll. Oh no!
It's for my after-school tabletop role-playing game club. If the dice fall off the table, it's a nat 1. And they still roll hard enough to make the dice fall off the table every session.
Nat ones are fine. They're funny. Anything else that you're going to try to ask questions about?
I'm pretty sure that the Republic doesn't have a plague of Sith spawn.
That's just what they want you to think. Probably because it's true, but it's an unsubstantiated rumor.
Don't forget the Jedi assassins.
Oh, yes, the Force Plague Jedi assassins. Yes, I forgot about those. I'm assuming that whisper from Beth was actually a crew member just leaning into the conversation to whisper it to me.
Probably you were in the commissary. Obviously.
It's not unprecedented, but so vanishingly rare that I would be surprised.
As would I, but when you're on a long journey on a military vessel, rumors help pass the time.
Jedi assassins might exist. I don't know what shadows get up to.
May I spread some rumors of my own when I'm chumming it up with the crew?
If you wish. But give me an appropriate sort of roll. Let me just see. And I suppose you could do the savoir-faire roll again.
It feels weird to keep rolling the same thing over and over again, but it makes sense.
It's so useful. It'll be at a penalty. Yeah. I mean, if you had some more applicable ones made by one, you can get them agreeing that some of the combinations of rumors are more hilarious.
Oh no, I don't.
Quite sure if you.
I don't want to spread rumors about the stuff that I've been asking them about. They're clearly way more knowledgeable than I am. I mean, I could say, well, the bosun said, or I could do something like that. But no, I want to spread rumors about my companions. Specifically, I intend to spread a rumor about Senani being a particularly violent kind of person if you look at them in just the wrong way or say just the wrong thing. You need to be very particular and specific and not an inch out of line. You should see the last vessel we had to go on. They did eventually manage to pressure wash most of the remains out. But you had to keep the temperature lower than normal or there would be a smell.
They all believe this. This is entirely believable to them.
Also, most of them have probably never seen a Twi'lek before. Or Twi'lek. So
They've seen Twi'lek. They've seen Twi'leks.
Well,
They've
yes.
usually been shooting at them.
Well, yes. They haven't seen one this close without a blaster in their hand.
Or without a shock collar around their neck, because sadly, the Empire is kind of a hive of scum and villainy, and there are Twi'leks in the cantinas.
And now here is one that is an apprentice. So how would they get to that point? Well, let me tell you. They showed severe aptitude for the kind of training that we receive.
Like that. Yeah.
Your rage will set you free.
Completely believing all of this. Well, technically, legally, it doesn't at this era.
I tore someone's throat out with my teeth, clearly.
Obviously,
I'm eating.
Yes, we see that you are. Actually, I see that you've stopped.
Well, yes, to complain.
You're welcome.
Not that I'm sure that anything on board a military ship can be termed a tempting morsel.
It's food. It's fuel.
It's an acquired
It feeds the
taste.
hunger.
In which case, you acquire it and it tastes awful.
Anything else? You come out of hyperspace. I cannot make the sound effects. That's such a pity. Crash, if you find the sound effects for that, can you, like, put in the sound effects in the movie?
It's going to be some wacky sound effect that has nothing to do with force travel whatsoever. It's going to sound like a car backfiring as it slows down.
Aww.
Actually, I don't know where to find that sound either.
You come out of hyperspace. Wah, wah.
Sigh. You come out of hyperspace. The ship can... Yeah, the captain comes and, gets you and says, "My lords, there's a distress beacon from... Well, it's nearby. I'll be about 3 days. Can you pilot yourselves down, or do I need to send a pilot with you? We have a
I
shuttle."
can take us down.
Very well.
The stress beacon.
The captain leads you to a shuttle and lets you familiarize yourselves with it, find out if this is the kind of shuttle that you can actually fly, that kind of thing.
It's one of those self-driving
Can fly.
ships.
I'll fly.
Indeed, there are actually 2 of you who have a little bit of piloting skill, I think.
Oh, as you like.
You give me a piloting roll for debarking the ship without scratching the paint. Oh, that's a nice piloting roll. That's
I
made
can
by 8.
fly. And no one has been letting me fly because they've been keeping me in a box until I can avoid embarrassing them.
Insert
Also,
the Peter Pan
German
song. He can
traffic
fly, he can
laws
fly.
are like a nightmare.
Look.
They're making me learn all of them.
Well, of course. And you have to fill out the proper paperwork for each training exercise, of course. You haven't been doing that, have you?
The droids can fly on German Casa. I'm going to do a loop-de-loop.
Considering you made this by 8, I think that you can do a loop-de-loop.
Well, I've been
All right.
avoiding the ship food because I don't have gluttony as a disadvantage. However, somebody else might be doing the loop-de-loop on a full stomach.
Oh, sure. Just give me a health roll and don't crit fail.
Was that a crit fail?
No, it's only
No.
missed by 3.
Okay, it gives that sound effect if any of the dice hit a number. So all I could do was I could hear it.
I don't actually hear the dice. That's weird. Ron is fine.
My feet don't
Tuxa
move.
is a little bit, oh no, the everything is spinning. No, wait. Everything is spinning because the shuttle is spinning because apparently your crazy Twi'lek pilot is all the stereotypes.
I'm laughing. I enjoy
If she
this.
were driving.
I'm sorry,
It
I was
should be
talking
fine.
over that. What was that?
If she were driving.
Yes. Well. There is, amazingly, still a little ping, ping, ping that points out where you're supposed to land. It has something resembling a spaceport. And give me another piloting roll to set down without problems.
If people were setting up a distress beacon, there was something horrible waiting for us here. I feel like it would be waiting at the spaceport.
I have Form 817B all filled out except for the time and location. I just need to enter those in real quick whenever things happen. We'll be good.
Is it a proper spaceport or is it just a landing pad at the estate?
You will have to get a little bit closer to the planet to come up and see what the spaceport is.
Okay.
Oh, I'll get a little bit closer then.
Okay. You sort of sidle up to it, flying reasonably casual, since you made that one by 2. And, okay, there's a landing pad there. There's a landing pad. There's what looks like some great big old tanks, probably water purification. There's solar panels on top of this smallish building. And there's a shuttle on the landing pad already, but there's enough room for 2. There does not appear to be an estate here. You can go flying around looking for an estate, or you can land and walk. There's a trail leading away from it.
This is where the
beacon
distress call is coming from?
No. The distress call is a space beacon that the ship has the big ship has to go attend to. And therefore they can't
I'm sorry, I
wait.
misunderstood.
That's okay.
I also misunderstood.
Sorry.
Where are they having their parties? Can't be in that. Oh, well, let's just sit down next to the shuttle. And then let's go check out the shuttle.
It could be a facade.
Oh, true. There could be an estate underground.
Under the swamp. Yes. Would make it easier to flood it.
Yeah, swamp. No, that would be terrible.
For them.
They do say it's better down where it's wetter.
The swamp.
You keep mentioning they. Who are they?
I'm an apprentice, not an architect.
Oh, you know. The
Architect?
people.
What architect? What architect? I didn't hear that,
I said I'm an apprentice, not an architect.
Come on, Bones.
And I wasn't an architect before I was an apprentice either. Anyway, let's land.
Give me a piloting roll. Whoever's landing should give me a piloting roll.
Not it. I have people to do that for me.
Are you cramping for the wheel?
No, but I'm landing.
You can obviously do a couple of...
We're all landing.
Okay, point. Senmate, there's by 6. Are you jumping out before it actually gets onto the ground, Antuxa?
No.
Okay, just wondered. It is a good landing. It is a sweet landing. The dice love Sen for piloting, so you land right next to the other ship.
I broke Crash.
You broke Crash?
I just have this image of, like, no, you will not do another loop-de-loop because we bank up just a little bit because of some type of cross current or something.
I feel like I should be putting quirks on this sheet.
Feel free. Honestly, I don't think I gave everyone 5 points in quirks. You can add quirks up to 5. And if you do that, go ahead and add a point to like a skill or something. I don't mind. If you have a quirk, go for it. You land. You crank open the door. The air it's breathable. I mean, there's oxygen in it and other things that are supposed to be in air that is breathable by humans and pure blood Sith and Twi'leks.
What a delightful smell we've found.
Yes. It could be worse. It really could be worse. It's just kind of swampy.
It's just mostly swampy. It's not the swamp of sorrows. It's the swamp of feeling a little down.
Yeah. You hop off. It's a landing area. You might even be able to get like another shuttle onto it. There are little connections that you can go and drag over to offload waste products from the, ship freshers or take on air, take on purified water. There's a little windowless building over there that probably supply ships can just put stuff in, and it's right next to the water tanks. It's got the solar powers. And there's a little small ship, large shuttle that's right next to you.
I'm going to take a look at that ship.
What do you do next? Okay.
I'm also going to go take a look at that ship.
Yeah. Is the boarding hatch closed?
On your ship or the new ship?
We should make sure that our boarding hatch is closed.
And make a note of where we park.
Yes. And presumably lock it with a, keypad entry or something.
Yeah.
Everyone
I have a little fob.
Code. Beep, beep. Okay. The little ship's big shuttle, whatever, that is next to you is probably technically a ship because it looks like it's hyperspace capable. It has numbers on it that proclaim it. You can read the numbers there. That's the prefix that is used for ships that are owned by Darths. Oh, look, there's one that's prefixed for mysteries.
We found the mystery machine.
That looks like they might. Yep, you did in fact find the mystery machine.
It's covered in flowers.
Not really. Give me an appropriate roll. Perception, if nothing else, is better.
Oh no.
It's just a ship. Yeah. Sen is
I'm
like,
not seeing any of
okay,
my
it's a
rolls
ship.
come up. I saw
I
the
see
dice go across.
You made by.
Whoop, there we go.
Well,
Wait, no.
The other dice knocked into my critical failure, and for a moment I thought that, oh, okay, it's not a critical failure, but no, it was still a critical failure.
alas. So, just looking at it, the communications antenna on the other ship, you can't find it.
I don't even know why they have those
flew
things
in your
stay
face.
external. They always get snapped off the first sign of combat or low-hanging structure.
Actually,
Or a sneeze.
gotcha!
You have got the bug that was flying in your face. But
I'd
the
like to try.
telekinesis-
I'd like to try psychometry on the ship.
Oh, excellent. Good idea. Fascinating. Do that. Okay.
Made it by 4.
This ship has had things inside it that don't belong there. You see sort of elongated, like, a terrestrial, those sort of mud skipper fish that drag themselves up on land because they can breathe water a little bit. Only if you cross that with like a long shark or something, and there's someone who's been coming and going on the ship, and you get an impression of danger there.
May I roll danger
something
sense?
and something is wrong. Yes, you may roll danger sense. You may deliberately roll danger sense.
I do not know how to do that. I click on it and nothing happens.
Roll your IQ.
Character sheet. May I roll danger sense? No.
Actually, roll your perception.
Okay. So, yes, I'm also sensing this danger that Ellie's character is sensing. I'm just going to let you go back to explaining things now.
Okay, so that's basically what Antux is getting, is that things have been on the ship that she really doesn't think should be on the ship. Ron, you are rolling, or you're just sort of trying to get vibes out of the world. This world is full of predatory things that have, if not killing intent towards you, at least sizing you up to see if you're tasty. And you don't just mean the bugs.
Don't they know who
Also,
I am?
You're a mammal. You might be edible. In fact, everybody give me a perception roll again.
Another one?
No.
Yes. Actually, you can keep yours if you really want to.
I'll
Yeah,
take
maybe-
the. I'll take the made it by 5 over the made it by 3. That's fine.
That's fine. Okay.
Let's all roll for perception.
No,
Let's all roll for
more.
This place, all of you can sense, this planet is strong in the dark side of the Force. And it comes in weird eddying waves, like it's stronger and then it's weaker, and it's stronger and it's weaker. The planet has a great deal of some kind of malevolence to it. Any of you who have been on Korriban, it's kind of like that, only swampier. Korriban's desert. And also, it ebbs and flows. One moment it's like, okay, everything's normal here, and it's... Sen, this place is really, really weird. This place, it almost feels like it's reacting to something that somebody did. It's not just the planet. It's like the Force storms of Dromenkas. Somebody did something that made the Force do these weird eddies and waves and back and forth nonsense.
My fellow apprentices, remember how I was making jokes about our insolvent Darth sacrificing everyone in a blood ritual?
I was really hoping that that was not what we were going to find, but yeah.
Someone did something to make the Force energy here like this.
The question is...
I mean, it might not have been sacrificing everyone in a blood ritual.
The question is, when? Is this the result of our recalcitrant tax-dodging Darth? Or allegedly? Or...
No, there's no alleged about it.
Did they come here to have parties because this was already like this and they thought it was neat?
Well, I can't tell who was on this ship last, but whoever they were, they had a very strange pet.
Really?
Not something I recognize, anyway.
Has anyone tried to go into the ship yet?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
We don't need to go into the ship.
Want me to break in? Oh.
What?
Oh, Rand said we don't need to go into the ship at the same time that Sanone said, want me to break in?
Well, if you wish to go into the ship, you may. I'll fill out the form for you.
Thank you. We're investigators. We're supposed to put our grubby little hands, or I guess impeccably clean little hands, all over everything.
I mean, we are in a swamp. They might be grubby very
glove
soon.
What was that?
I said, speaking of which, I put my glove back on.
Tidily, no doubt.
Can we
Okay.
use force telekinesis
You
to
go.
cast prestidigitation?
No, alas.
Well, then what good
There's
is the
great
force
research
anyway?
into it. To keep you from getting spattered in the first place.
I'm just going over into the sulking corner now.
Okay. So anyway, you go up to start cracking open that door. It's unlocked.
I'm almost disappointed,
Mm-hmm.
but only almost. I'm going to open this door now.
Okay.
It was unlocked? That's a whole page of paperwork I don't get to fill out now. Oh, well, just scroll down
Actually,
to
wait,
the end
what
part.
kind of weird pet?
That would be the opportunity.
Yeah, it really would.
It's
Silence from Beth.
What kind of weird pet? I'm going to let Entuxa describe what she feels like describing.
Oh, it was, what do you call them? The giant lizards. On Drummond, slit, something like that. But more sharky, like something from a water planet that had just learned to walk.
Okay, I take out my lightsaber and then I open the door.
Okay. The door opens. There, you look in. I assume that you take enough time to actually, look around and not just charge in.
Yeah.
Correct?
I do not have impulsive.
Amazing. I didn't give anyone impulsive. Silly of me.
The work that I wrote down of trying way too hard to be enthusiastic about the Sith thing, but I do not actually have impulsive.
That's valid. There's mud coming in to this ship. Both what might be footprints and also weird sort of sloogey, wavy back and forth, like somebody dragged in a bag of something. Maybe a body. Maybe it was under its own power. Maybe it was the critter that Antuxis saw. You do not see the critter. It also does not smell appreciably better inside the ship. It has had way too much air from the outside in it. Your lightsaber hums with a bloodthirsty, blood red glow.
Can I just take a moment to marvel at how often media about Star Wars will have a Sith or Jedi using a lightsaber as a light source in dark environments, but half of the light it creates is going right back in the saber wielder's face, so it ruins their ability to see anything in any direction. Anyway, thanks for giving us all night vision.
Yeah. You're welcome. Did I give you? Do you all have it? That's excellent. I'm so
which
glad.
tends to not work when you're shining a light in your face.
Yeah, well, if you hold it up above your head, then it comes down, so it just ruins your stealth instead.
Ren's gonna walk through the ship holding the lightsaber above their head, carving a line through the ceiling of the ship.
You can hold them horizontally.
I mean,
You
I
can also
could.
sort of wave things around. Yeah, you don't have to hold it up like a torch. You're not the Statue of Liberty.
If this was Rotini and not Ren, it would definitely be held pointed straight up, but it still wouldn't hit the ceiling. So it wouldn't be relevant.
Right.
Every now and then I do a short hop just to put a little gouge in the ceiling because, like, when someone reaches up over to slap the top of a door when they go under it, like all my middle schoolers do.
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah.
Okay. I am going to follow Sen into the ship, but maybe not go in the same direction, unless the ship is small enough that we don't really have that choice.
It is small enough that you do have a choice. You have a left and you have a right. You have a towards the front of the ship, towards the bridge, and you have a not towards the bridge. You have the opposite. You got front of ship, back of ship.
Whichever way Sen goes, I go the other way.
Hey, are you splitting up?
In a very
Pretty
small
small
ship,
ship.
I'm not sure it counts as splitting up. Technically, because we're both on the
All right,
ship,
that's fair.
and Antuxa's not, we've split up already. Although
Oh, I'll stay by the door and make sure nothing comes in.
I was going to suggest that exactly, yes. We don't really want to be trapped in here by something that approaches from outside.
Okay.
All right, I'm going towards the bridge.
I'll go towards the back.
There's... All right. I would like people who are there to give me a search roll, if you have the skill. If not, I believe it's the IQ -5. That's, traditional.
Made it by 1.
Okay. Success first. The back of the ship has mostly cargo and some bunks that, you can pull down from the side of the wall. Like, if you absolutely have to sleep on this thing. It has cabinets. The cabinets are hanging open. And there's no first aid kits or any food, any rations in this ship. At least not back here. There's mud. It's all tracked around. Some of it is in fact tracked over in front of the cabinets that should have emergency rations, emergency supplies. It's all gone. Somebody's looted this place. Sen, you're up in the bridge. There's less mud here. There's some on the floor. And the ship has its usual controls. You trying to turn it on or anything?
You know what? I am going to take this search failure as Sen has decided that they don't care about searching through the bridge. They want to try to break into the computers.
Okay. You'll have to power up the ship to make the computer turn on.
Oh, yes, that would help. I'm going to do that.
Okay. You power up the ship. Vroom. Everyone can tell that the ship is being powered up for whatever purpose. Inside and out, it makes a noise. There's the computer, and the computer's beeping a little error message at you.
What does the error message say?
Connect navigational module. Connect navigational module. Connect navigational module.
How about I break into navigational module, you awful little thing?
Is there a navigational module, or is there just an empty space where that module should be?
Excellent. You put your hand down.
If that is will or perception, to make by 6, it's basing it on IQ right now.
Base that one on, what are you trying to do with it?
Well, I want to find and get into the navigational module.
Perception.
Okay, makes by 6 then.
There is no navigational module. It is physically not connected. When you open up the correct panel, indeed, Brent is correct. It's not there.
So either someone pulled it out or someone decided to navigate here with the Force.
That would be the obvious two choices, pretty much.
I think at this point, my character is going to be coming forward from the back of the ship and saying, well, it looks like the back of the ship is totally ransacked and looted, and oh, it looks like they've looted the front of the ship also. What was supposed to be in there?
They stole the navigational module.
Ah.
AKA the thing that would have told us where this ship was and how it got here. Which is actually a very smart thing to steal if you're trying to hide that. So props to them, but also I'm going to, I don't know, eviscerate them. Whoever they are.
I think there is a subform that I can attach to 817B for that.
Cool.
How are things going in there?
We found nothing.
Terrible.
No, excellent. We found lots of clues. In that, there's very little in here.
Really?
And the navigational module is gone.
Also, no supplies, no first aid, just lots of mud. Although most of the mud's in the back of the ship, the front is surprisingly... Okay, clean is the wrong word to use. Less muddy.
Oh yeah, hey, are there mud footprints here?
There are
Are they
There are mud
ours?
footprints that come up. Nope. You have not actually gotten your feet terribly muddy yet. The mud here it's dried a little, or coagulated.
So maybe our unknown mud benefactor is the one who took the navigational module and not whoever initially landed.
Oh.
I mean, they might be the same person. But also,
Anything else on the ship?
The path leading
Yes.
away from the ship,
Mhm.
is that like a path or is it paved?
It's graveled.
Okay.
There's a graveled path that leads away from the landing pad.
How far is it from where I'm standing at the door to the second shuttle?
You're what are you looking for the distance? The path?
The distance from the door to the second shuttle
Mhm.
to the the start of the path.
Probably about 30 meters.
Okay.
Basically, there's enough room that you could put another shuttle down if you were, if it wasn't too big and you were careful between you and that.
Okay.
There's also a storage room or whatever that little building is that has the water purification tanks next to it, attached to it, and has the solar
Wait.
panels.
If it was quite nearby, I was going to go over and push my step onto it and see if my boot got muddy.
You could do that if you wished. It's a little bit of a trek, but
I don't want to do that when it's that far
Okay.
away.
okay. It does not look like it is particularly ultra muddy over there. I mean, there are mud paths and tracks all over the landing area. Like, things have slithered over it and left muddy trails.
Yeah, sure, but things wouldn't have stolen the nav computer and been able to open the doors and get the supplies.
Presumably not.
And I was wondering if someone coming up the path would have gotten their boots muddy.
That's an interesting question, and you would indeed have to go and poke at the path to find out.
Yeah, which I'm not going to split the party to do.
Okay.
You could always
You'll have to make them
use
come out.
You could always use telekinesis to just toss something over there.
I don't have it.
I didn't give you teak. Whoops.
Nope.
You're not a teaker. Silly me. You have some other tricks, though.
I do.
You have some very useful other tricks. Yes. Okay.
Well, shall we check out the storage building?
I've got
sounds
nothing
like
better
a
to
great
do.
idea.
All right, we link arms and sing a merry tune as we walk over to the shed that's not too far away. Oh, except for the
Presumably
singing
closing the
part
door
and linking
behind you,
arms.
but, yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Well,
Yes, closing the ship back up.
yes.
Okay.
We don't want to leave the ship open and allow mud to get inside. That would ruin the carpeting.
More mud. Okay. There's a whatever this little building is. It has a single door. The door faces you. This door is locked. You get to decide what you want to do with it. You could try to pick the lock with lock picking or LOPS security, or you could try to bust the door down.
I am going to take a
Well,
look.
my skill set is not appropriate for this.
I'm going to take a look at Sen
Anyone
and a look
here
at
have
Ran.
LF security?
Does someone have LOPS security?
I believe I do have a useful skill in this case. May I try my universal key?
You actually do
Wait,
have
you have
electronic
LF security.
I also have forced entry.
What? You
Yeah.
do? Which one would
Yeah,
you
that's
rather
what
do?
I thought you.
Senoni, I suggest we stand back.
I make forced entry by 3. I do intend, unless you tell me I can't do this, to open the door by lifting up one foot and kicking very hard, possibly augmenting it with force power for flavor, not saying that that's an actual thing. Just to kick the door open and say, boom, baby, except for the boom, baby part. I am not actually Emperor Kuzco.
make
I just
that-
really want to be.
Let me just, for grins, make a roll for...
Did you roll for the door?
Yes.
Roll
Did the
for
door win?
Door.
Unfortunately.
I feel... Do I do a tex?
You lift your foot dramatically. You do a kick. The door basically jostles on its hinges, cracks somewhat alarmingly where your foot hit, and unfortunately you do not manage to pop the lock through because the door rolled an 8.
I have a lightsaber.
We've all got lightsabers.
You've all got lightsabers.
Yes. Yes.
At that, I
Yes, we
use the
do.
lightsaber to cut the door apart.
I we use them.
Do I have to roll for lightsaber against the door? Does the door block the saber?
The door cannot block the saber. However, I am going to make you roll damage.
Let's see. I'm not going to roll damage for biting. Although,
Nope.
for the record, I did have a higher skill in bite temporarily.
Until I fixed it.
Yeah. That's 16 points of
Okay.
burning damage.
Fortunately, it's not actually made out of a flammable material. It's made out of a kind of melty material. As you just put your saber down and go... zhing. It's not the sort of dramatic thing that would be, very fighty and flashy and all that good stuff. But you know what? It does the job.
I will note in my paperwork that the kick loosened it somewhat.
Yeah. Well, can pull it open. Actually, it swings inwards because that's where the hinges are.
No, if I've done
It's
this
dark
right,
in
it's
there.
only swinging down.
Thump! Oh, you didn't want both hinge and the lock?
If it's worth doing, it is worth overdoing.
Okay. The door, or at least the part that you could bother to cut out, goes whump, presumably inwards, because otherwise it would be extremely embarrassing if it fell outwards and, fell on you. It's dark.
It would
in
seek
there.
revenge.
It would. Some bugs fly out. Little things skitter in the darkness within. There appear to be some prefab shelves in there, maybe a table or two, some crates.
I'm going to go through the crate.
Okay. It is somewhat dark in here. There's a lamp on the wall next to the door, but the batteries appear to be dead. There's mud on the floor.
I have night vision 3.
You have night vision. Okay, search rolls?
Maybe this time I will make a search roll.
You do. Okay. There's crates that appear to have been being used by... Oh, that's made by 5. Okay.
I'm peeking in from the doorway. I'm letting Sen do the work, but I will point out something if they don't catch it.
Okay. There's a flimsy taped to the wall near the lamp. It seems to have some handwritten stuff on it. There's
Ooh.
Okay, grabbing that.
Yep.
They're in the way, Antuxa. They're just in the way. Clearly.
Really?
I break a better door than a window.
There are no windows in this room. It's so weird.
That's why I broke a better door than a window.
Right. If you take the little flimsy and hold it in the light, it appears to have goods that arrived. There's a list that has some kind of wine on it, different wine brands. There's a book called the Heptameron of Lesiar. There's another book, actually it seems to be a case called Amadeus of Alderaan. Amadeus, something like that. Amadeus. And there's a bit about various, meats and cheeses and canned goods.
When did these arrive?
Months ago. The scribbled date is months ago. This is not new. It's all... the shelves that are in there are basically empty. Are you waving your lightsaber around for lighting on this?
Do I need to?
It's a little dark to get really any fine details.
Yeah, I might.
Okay. There's dust on the shelves. There's the crates that are apparently around the tables, like as stools or something, are empty. There's one in the corner of the room that has some mud on top of it, like someone used as a step stool.
If they
that
were
one
using
isn't
it
empty. Actually,
if they were using it as a step stool, what were they stepping to?
To get up to higher shelves. That crate is not actually empty, though.
Ooh.
It's heavy. You can open it if you want to.
Yes.
Okay, we'll resolve that. You can pry that thing open. It's just a crate. You flip it open, no problem. It's got some bottles of liquid.
Well,
sort of
someone did order
rounded.
wine.
Yep, that
So maybe this is the wine.
does look like it. Except there would probably be more, but this looks like it's at least some of the wine.
Presumably this is the wine that they didn't already drink.
Or for some reason they have not gone to get it. Does anyone have connoisseur wine, just out of amusing chance? Or, well, the high society one might actually work as a
Does
substitute.
horrible
-3.
hangovers count as connoisseur of wine, or is that the opposite of that?
The opposite.
Zanoni hands the wine bottle to Antuxa.
Okay. You're looking at it, and it's not a vintage you would serve at a good party. This is an inexpensive wine. It's called Quarren Blush.
Hmm.
You wouldn't serve this at a good party. You'd serve it like for, on, maybe iced wine or something, or if you had to throw a party where the hoi polloi came.
You serve this after everyone's already drunk.
Want to get drunk? Yes.
Yes. This is the backup wine.
Yeah.
Maybe
this
he's
is the-
disguising bad wine as good wine because he's broke now.
Backup wine. And yes, that's not unheard of.
Ran.
Unfortunately, I have a feeling that's going to be an Antuxa catchphrase. That's not unheard of.
Nothing wrong with that. Rand made a search roll by 5, yes?
Yes. Is there anything I noticed that
There's-
hasn't been pointed out already?
There's some dry blood that near the one corner that it sort of leads streaking a bit towards the door. Like maybe something got dragged out.
Oh, wonderful. I see where they store the blood.
What?
The either this is an odd color of mud for the area,
No.
or
no. Oh, okay. So So you found blood here, but you didn't find them storing it.
Well, it
Look,
depends
I
on
don't
what
know
they put in the
mystery
wine.
says. They might have been storing blood in a crate.
Yes, especially after the
Perception
rituals
smell
that we've
roll.
talked about before.
I'd like more perception rolls for smell, particularly.
I think I would like to fail this perception roll.
What a wonderful smell you found.
You did feel it.
Yes,
I succeeded, but I don't like it. I think Entuxa did the same.
Smells. Okay, they're in the middle of the floor, under one of the little tables, is some kind of drainage grate thing, which the blood does not actually go into. Like, there wasn't really enough of it to go down. Nevertheless, something is kind of disgusting and rotting coming out of it.
I feel like I need to go outside of this building to get some fresh air. And believe me when I say you don't need to believe me. You're here. You're here too. Yeah. How did they make a place that smells worse than the rest of this planet? Anyway, I'm going to look down the drain.
don't know.
I steel myself
Entuxa
and look down the
smell.
drain.
It's dark in there.
I have a lightsaber and dark vision.
Well, there's a grate over
You
it.
have dark vision. You're human.
Mostly human. Moderately human. Humans can
I
have
developed
dark
my
vision,
force
too.
sensitivity to be able to sense things in light that is not normally good enough for human eyes. It took years of practice and just the right paperwork. Anyway, you're saying there's a grate over it, but I have a lightsaber.
Could try lifting it out if you wanted to, but,
Well, okay. Yes,
Someone's
because if I
got
lift it out, then I have a grate that I can throw. That wouldn't just be an obstacle. It would be great.
No.
Yes.
So if I make my telekinesis roll, just barely, do I get to lift the grate up?
Slowly. It's a little bit heavy. You're having a certain effort.
I try to pawn this off as me just being dramatic.
That works. Acting
Well,
roll?
I don't have acting. I'm not saying it's going to be played off like that. I'm saying that's what I'm attempting. There is a difference.
Fair
I am
enough.
very much aware.
Fair enough. Okay. There's a pool of, swampy goo. And it seems to have some lumps in it, and it really smells bad.
Okay, I'm going to drop the grate and pick up one of the lumps with my telekinesis because I'm not touching that.
Okay. And Tuxa, you got the odor as well, but if you're staying out of the gross, it is too gross to get a good grasp on with your telekinesis right now.
I still feel like I need to
I'm
wash.
staying out here where it only smells merely bad.
I'll touch it. I'll touch it. I'll touch it.
I feel like I need to wash my force off now.
I'll touch it. Here.
All right. Lifting the biggest one? Or, yeah.
Yes.
This is gross and stinky and appears to be a head. And frankly, this is kind of shocking enough that I am going to just quickly check something which I had actually meant to look up before, and I didn't because I'm an idiot. Please be in this particular one.
I mean, we're all Sith apprentices. Seeing a severed head is, we call that Tuesday.
It's not the severed, although it's kind of a gross one. Just give me an idea.
We call it Severed
Let's
Head
see.
Saturday.
But what do you know? That's in the other file. Whatever.
Apparently, Sen made a fright check.
Give some Yes. By 9 there. By 1.
I am the epitome of calmness, is what I believe.
You are all totally fine with the fact that there's apparently a head. And it's not a head that you people had any input into why it's there.
Well,
You have
someone's
recovered.
been having fun without us.
Mm-hmm.
And Tuxa
Well,
is standing there with a handkerchief over her mouth and nose.
I love that, Tuxa.
I feel like Ren needs to make some type of pun about they came to this party because they were trying to get ahead in this particular sphere, and then I put on sunglasses and there's an explosion behind us.
No explosions.
A Jawa just waves and says,
Okay,
Utini,
so
which translates to, I'm sorry. Wrong campaign.
Let me just put this head outside, and then we can see if there's maybe a dismembered body in there that might have
Yes.
IDs, and we can see if this is one of the guests.
Yes. I
Why
do
don't you
believe
let me
Ed took
take that, and I will put it
over
why
here
don't
with
you
the
let
other
me take
severed
that,
heads.
and I will put it over here with the rest of the bad smell.
And where would that be, Antuxa?
Outside. It's just all of outside.
Yeah, I'll set it down on the
The
I'll
gravel
set it
path.
down on the landing pad, but like a couple paces away. And after a moment's thought, turn it so it's facing away from us.
You mean you don't want it to watch?
Okay. Do you have an appropriate role for noticing useful things besides perception? I mean, perception's so good, but if you have anything that's better.
Me?
Yeah, you.
Danger sense, empathic vibes,
Psychometry.
precog parry. Oh, psychometry. I could do psychometry on the head.
Do you want to do psychometry on the head?
No, but I will anyway.
Oh. Psychometry is terrible. I should never have given it to you. I love this. You have some really horrible impressions from this head. This head has torment, torture, pain, fear.
Yes, we've all been apprentices. What else?
It's steeped in there for longer than you've been an apprentice. It's as if something had been enduring this for years upon years without respite, without, feeling trapped. And then a brief flash of entertainment and fanciness, lights, good taste, and then pain again. And the last thing that it gives the impression of is one of those swampy, sleeny fish things dragging it around in its mouth.
Having a good conversation over
the rest
there.
of the body. And you feel like there's something on its forehead that is meaningful.
Besides the mud.
Yes, I'll take out a second handkerchief and carefully wipe off the forehead.
Let me just provide a bit of... there we are.
If we end up with a hammer space that's just for handkerchiefs for Entuxa, I will be here for this content.
Let's see. I need to rename that quickly because it has a spoiler in the name otherwise, and I'd rather not.
Quick question. What
Where's my
species
note?
is this head?
It is humanoid, so it's either a human or a near human. It is not a Twi'lek. The skulls tend to have extra holes for where the
Leku.
nerve masses in the Leku are.
Is this a head or is it a skull?
It's a head that things have been rotting off of and it's been chewed on.
Okay,
So, yes.
gotcha.
I'm just imagining the Darth going, what have you got in your mouth? Drop it. Drop it.
That's wrong. No, that's... Where is that? Curse, you wretched thing. How did that not have an actual... Have a moment. We're experiencing technical difficulties. Why don't everyone take a quick break while the GM... Why don't we take 5 while the GM makes this work?
Sounds like a plan. I'll pause.
Because that is an
You can-
Orabesh.
Yes, that is.
Oh, it is?
Well, it's not Orbesh, I don't think. It's you recognize that though, I do believe, if you made your roll. Let me get the thing
Yes.
back.
Just a quick point of order, because I don't think it got into the recording. What you said right before I hit the button was, you found a head that has something etched into the skull.
Yep.
Okay.
An image. And if someone wishes to describe what they think the image looks like, that would be nice.
It looks like a lizard fish with a crest on its head, long fingers, and a forked tail with spines coming off it.
And there's some symbols.
And there are
Sorry.
7 symbols inside the curl of it.
Which you, sadly, because you really hate that you remember all of this stuff, recognize it as a variant. It's like some kind of, well, shorthand isn't the right way. Sloppy is probably better. Version of runes of Ur-Kitat. Kitat? How do you pronounce the A with a hat on it?
A hat?
At, I think. Urkitat.
It appears to be the word for slave.
Well, that would make sense. This was a slave who spent most of their life being tortured, and then was given one final party, I suppose, before being devoured by one of these Sleen shark things.
Well, I was hoping that this would be a clue, but no, it's just weird, terrible mystery stuff, I guess.
Oh no, I think you may have been quite right about the blood party thing. Tragic as that would be.
I was making a joke about Republic horror holovids. I shouldn't be right.
No, you shouldn't be.
You say they're
Mysteries
Republic
doesn't-
horror holovids. We call them documentaries.
No, Mysteries doesn't typically do things like this.
Catch them at it.
Well, where we, my parents' sphere could find them anyway. Besides, the cost of a party like this would be, well, I suppose if all the guests were slaves. Oh, but that doesn't explain. Oh, the one with the reality show, Makad.
Reality show?
It was short-lived. They had a documentary crew following her family around. It was a thing. Ridiculous.
I canonize this.
Anyway, her disappearance will be raising eyebrows any moment now. In fact, I'm a little surprised we weren't followed here by tabloids. Anyway, is there anything else of interest in that abattoir?
Oh, right. I should keep trying to pick up the terrible things, pick up the terrible things, pick up the terrible things.
Pick up the terrible things. Pick up the terrible things. Pick up the pick up blah 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 blah. I get.
Most of the rest of it is like lumps of lump thing goo that maybe that was a chunk of flesh. That's a rock. That's a rock.
I got a rock.
That's some bones, but they don't look human. They look like, oh, that's a fang. There's a fang in there. Yeah, that was the biggest one, and the rest are just sort of goo and trash.
I'm going to
Oh, look,
just
there's a
dump all
vertebra.
this back. Unless
There's a what?
anyone wants to squish through this for identification, I'm dropping it all back in.
Wait, we have to be running the water before we turn on the garbage disposal.
I don't care.
Wait, you said running the water.
It was a joke.
How close was this to the top of the drain?
Fairly. The drain doesn't look like well, it looks like it might have plugged the drain. So it wasn't meant to have heads in there. It was meant for like if somebody breaks the wine and then it all gets drained, it drains itself out.
No one ever reads the user manual.
Does that answer the question?
Does the drain go to the sewage?
Presumably.
If
Or
we step outside and
drain
walk
hole
around this building,
somewhere
are we just
around.
going to see the output of the drain?
Possibly.
I step outside and go around the shack to see if it just outputs directly into the swamp.
There's a pipe that goes a ways away from the landing pad and does, in fact, have a little trail of grossness that goes out into the swamp. It's kind of half buried by now. No one has been coming out here to clean the drain.
Wonderful. They decided to drain the horribleness into the rest of the horribleness. This is just where we keep it.
And this one was swampy, and this one is swampy?
No, what I mean is, this was chewed on. I mean, not to be gauche, but this head was chewed on and dragged away by one of these creatures.
And then it was burned down and sent
And
into the
then
swamp.
someone brought it here and put it down the drain and locked the door behind them. There is a person still on this world.
We need to shake down for answers and also taxes.
Both of those, yes.
I'd be happy with just the taxes part, to be
Right.
honest. But, you know, when in a horrible swamp,
No, this is a mystery, and if there's one thing I hate, it's that I hate hating mysteries.
That almost made sense. Let's go.
it makes
Haven't
perfect
met my
sense.
parents.
It makes perfect sense if you don't mind the migraine.
There's a gravel path over there. Going to go down the, well...
Yellow gravel path?
It's not yellow.
Yet.
Aside from that, yeah. Well, I mean, depends on what bleeds on it.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. That or paint.
True. The path
I
as
do
you
want to
get-
pay attention, and I do want to
Yep.
pay attention and see if I get mud on my boots.
The very center of the path is not very muddy. It slopes off to the sides, and yes, it gets muddy. If you were not being very careful where you stepped, you would get your boots muddy.
And this spot is muddy, and this spot is muddy, and
You were being careful where you step.
Yes.
You made it, you just made it, your decks. Therefore, yes, you are managing to avoid getting your boots muddy. Ditto, Ron. You're walking carefully in Tux's footprints.
that is exactly what I was going to suggest, considering that both of us just made our rules.
Does Sen care about muddy boots?
Yeah.
Made by one, you can find your own places to step that aren't terribly muddy.
Because that's a higher success
Yes,
in my
I
head
care
canon.
about muddy
Hmm?
boots. I don't want to have to scrub these off like 5 billion times before my master lets me step into that office again.
No, you just incinerate the old boots and grab some new ones.
Isn't that wasteful? I thought we were supposed to avoid waste.
There is a form for that.
Oh, okay.
Well, actually, there's a sub-form that you use to request a different form, which then allows you to fill out a form that gets you a new form where you can... Well, where are you going? Come... Wait for me! Wait for me!
I wish I could draw. I would illustrate that.
Please do not leave me alone in this swamp. I am too important to be left behind.
The path. The path cuts through swampy, forested terrain. If people want to, they can make a naturalist or survival roll, or they can just sort of go, ew. It's going to be about a couple miles trek as the road winds.
I know you said road winds with a D before the S.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm imagining the road,
The road is not
complaining.
whining.
I'm so muddy.
Oh,
Why did I
was
get
imagining
muddled?
pouring out some of the. I was imagining pouring out some of the wine.
Well, that's
Okay,
why
the
it's
road
complaining it's
winds.
drunk.
Obviously. You wind and wind through the swamp, through the terrain, and there sure is a lot of swamp nature out there. Only a Jedi could love this place. No, wait, it's full of dark energies.
I keep an eye out
Probably
for those
not.
little placards that they put on nature trails that let you know what plants are in the area and what historical significance various things have.
Alas, none. Ah, detecting disturbances. It
Although I'm pretty sure it's
feels
just going to give me a headache.
well, yeah, but the headache is that away. Fortunately, that's the way you're going. Lovely. Eventually, you arrive at Thrusher Manor, or Simont's Manor, Simont's Estate, Simont's Folly, whatever you want to call it. It's a substantial two-story house that looks like it wants to be some fancy estate house. Rises up from what is, hopefully, a less marshy patch of land, as if it believes it's a smaller recreation of some ancient Sith Lord's stronghold. The top gleams black with solar panels. A waist-high stone fence surrounds it. It's gone slightly crooked on the bad ground or where a large tree fell on top of it. Within the fence, the landscaping is only slightly squishy. There's a hum of a water purifier like the one at the landing site. The path leads through a decorative metal fence gate, which is ajar, to the porch and front door of the manor. If anyone feels like making it either a tactics or a strategy roll or an IQ -5, they can maybe get other minor details, but it's probably not important. I mean, it really is probably not important. You never know. It's not important.
What's the roll I'm making
the
again?
tree here.
Tactics, strategy, or IQ -5.
I agree, Senoni. The tree and the warped fence strike me as odd.
Right, someone should have removed that, I feel like.
A droid should have repaired that fence.
Actually, would I be able to roll forced entry to think of something about it?
Based on the IQ? Sure.
I think I made my intelligence -5 roll.
You did, in fact.
My-
Okay, from the way the fence is, the fence part at least, there probably aren't any native predators that can lever themselves up that high. The tree that has fallen onto the panels, there's something tangled up in the uppermost branches, and yeah, you're right. That's something should have fixed that tree. You know, it's unsightly and it's not tactically sound. And the gate is just sort of hanging there, swinging slightly in whenever a breeze comes up.
Does it do that eerie, really long creaking sound as it swings?
Yes, except it's doing it at a very high pitch that's just barely audible. Like when a computer screen has been left on in a room.
So we won't notice it's making that sound unless it stops.
But
Much.
it does stop periodically. It makes a sound, and then it stops. It makes the sound, and then it stops.
I cut the door off its hinges.
Roll to attack.
We finally found the combat that Beth approves of versus doors.
Give that an attack. Give me a lightsaber roll for that.
What door are we attacking?
The door that
Eight.
keeps swinging on its
Eight is
hinges.
Oh.
Made it by 4.
Tragically, the door.
Roll for
Is
damage.
doing all-out defense.
It turns out the door is ajar.
You cut the upper hinges off, and it thumps to the ground partly, twisting on its remaining hinge, and is at least not swinging back and forth anymore.
I look back at my companions and say, "What? It was annoying."
Are we going to have to answer for that later?
It was like that when we found it.
Okay.
Only waist high. It's fine.
Only waist high is not
Oh,
a description I want to hear when we are in a swamp.
so tactically unsound trees.
Probably nothing can actually get in crawling. Well, depends on how if there are any predators that actually claw, climb, that kind of thing. There's a tree. It's over there. There's some wooden placard tangled in it.
Oh, I'm going to investigate that.
Climbing +3.
I don't have climbing, I have acrobatics.
That'll do.
You can cartwheel your way
Okay.
up to the placard.
Will it be flat acrobatics or acrobatics +3?
Let's do the +3.
Okay. Oh,
Made by 8. Would have made it by 6. Right. That's pretty good. Bounce, bounce, bounce. I mean, basically, what you do, you're a force user. You're kind of like an anime creature. You kind of bounce up it instead of climbing up it.
mm-hmm.
You grab one and you swing yourself up to another branch and you retrieve the little wooden placard. Someone has used, it's something smaller than a lightsaber, but they burned the word backstabber onto it. And there's a bit of rope attached to it as if it could hang on something.
Oh, I think this was hung around somebody's neck. Probably while terrible things were done to them. Here, look.
You sprang down to show everybody.
Yep. Sinoni drops back down to show everyone their terrible placard.
I'm sure it's lovely, dear. I'm going to go stand in front of the door that's ajar. And after a moment...
It's a gate, not a door. It's bars of a, standard, fancy that you could see through them kind of nonsense.
Oh, sorry, I meant the door to the manor house.
Oh, that is not ajar. That
I
has
thought
a
it was.
porch.
I misunderstood.
I'm sorry. The door to the manor house, there's a porch, and on the porch is, it's one of those things from your vision. It's a long, low creature with a large, extended mouth, and it's got fins instead of legs that it could shove itself around on. They're sort of very sturdy fin type things, like you might see on, one of those coelacanths. And it's chewing on something. Chomp,
What do you have in your mouth?
chomp.
Drop it. Drop it. I'm going to attempt to pull whatever it's chewing on out of its mouth.
With
I think perhaps this
telekinesis?
is not a good idea.
With telekinesis. I'm not going near it. Unless I'm cutting it into pieces. Cut that fish into pieces. It's a fillet of sorts.
It also has something tied around its neck, by the way.
It's the backstabber.
Okay. Made by 1. Let me just double check a little something.
If it turns out to be a true toy.
Roll a contest. It hangs on to it.
So now it's just dangling by whatever it's chewing on.
Well, you made it by 1, and that's how much effective strength that you're running with is pretty much,
Okay.
a made by 1 effective
That's
strength. It made its strength by 9.
Can we see...
You were trying to grab the thing.
By having this tug of war, I imagine it's now more stationary and at the very least a little bit further out of its mouth. So the mouth isn't opening and closing around it. It's just staying put. Does that allow us to see any details?
Little, okay. Flesh of some kind.
Ah.
Large chunk of flesh, like melon-sized or thereabouts.
So not another head, but something.
Probably.
Probably not a
Something.
head.
Something a bit squishier than a head. Probably not a head.
All right, I let go.
Trying to drag... Okay. It goes into reverse. It's growling and hissing and...
Its food try to get away from it.
Mm-hmm. It looks like it is assessing what might be around it, and it's just sort of clamped its jaws tight and is sort of going "Argh, argh, argh," as it stares around itself. It does not actually seem to notice you. You're further away.
What does it have around its neck?
Sort of a rope thing that has maybe a label, another placard.
How close do I have to get to read it?
Closer than you are.
Well, yes.
Probably in the 2-meter range.
I
About
am
6 feet.
resisting the urge to say, I found another placard for you. Actually, you know what? My character would say that. They're rather selfish. Sen, I do believe I found another placard for you. What do you think that one says?
Really?
Yes, it's on our new friend's collar
I
over there.
don't know. I can't. Okay, so you want me to go over and poke the growly thing? That's what you're saying.
I mean, you've shown such skill in acquiring placards previously.
I will find out.
Who said that?
Entuxa vanishes. Where did Entuxa go?
Somebody made their invisibility skill check by 5.
Okay then. Great.
We'll just wait here till you get back.
I will creep
So-
over to the thing and see what the placard around its neck says.
All right, give me half a moment. I want to look at its stats again for a small little thingy. I mean, that ought to actually give a bonus, but let's see how much it fails by. That's probably not going to do it. It's growling, it's hissing, it's tossing its head back and forth, trying to see what tried to steal its meat. The placard is basically similar to the one that Sen found, except it reads ignoble and stupid.
Well, it's essentially a mud skipper.
An evil mud skipper. It's what you get if you cross a piranha, a crocodile, and a mud skipper.
Worst mud skipper.
Will versus Will. What are you rolling in, Tuxa?
I am waiting until I get back to the rest of the group before I drop my invisibility and say, fascinating.
As opposed to dropping your invisibility and saying fascinating when you were within biting range.
Yes, exactly.
So, are we going in via the door, or should we go find a window?
I suspect if we go in through the door, we're going to have to kill that thing.
No, it's fine. The GM hates combat. We'll win pretty quickly. Clearly, I do not say that for real.
Let's see if there's another entrance before we resort to slaughter ourselves.
That sounds like a good plan.
Okay, let me...
Maybe there's a servant's entrance?
Why would we go in through the servant's entrance?
Well, they won't be expecting that.
Oh, yes. Right. Although something tells me that at this point, no one is expecting anyone.
Yeah, that's fair.
All right, there's the porch.
The manor door is crafted from
Steve will open
imported
it up.
wood and carved with blocky images of the emperor. Blocky images. So basically, there's a Lego emperor.
Kinda.
Or a Minecraft
Artistically
emperor.
so.
Much like the statues that adorn the Korriban Academy. A brass plaque is mounted above the door with Sith characters. There are PCs and NPCs among the characters. That last part is
Entuxa was not bothering to
editorializing
read
from
that
Ellie.
Okay, off to, as you are looking at it, the left, there's a little side door over there, and it's marshy ground inside there. It's less marshy, it's less squishy than outside. That's useful. And you're just going to go all the way around the house. There are windows in some of the rooms.
Yeah,
They're
looking
closed.
for a servant's entrance.
The windows are lovely mirrored things so that you can look in, but unless you get your face like plastered right up to them, not so easy.
Oh, I'm totally doing that.
Okay. You can
Wait.
sort of see inside a little bit. It's very dimly lit in there.
I have dark vision.
It's like someone has turned off all the lights.
Well, night vision too.
True. Give me a vision roll. Let's see how much you make or fail it by.
I think I fail it by a lot.
Just by 2. you can sort of see shapes in there of like furniture and stuff.
Good news, it's already furnished. If we choose to move in, we won't need to go out and buy more.
The utterly weird thing about this whole place, as you traipse around the entire thing, there's some bushes, there's some trees, squish, 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 squish. It looks almost like
Squish,
someone tried to do
squish.
Looks like someone tried to do landscaping. Really? Kinda.
This shrubbery
The only
fell down. This one also fell down. This one caught on fire, then fell down. But this one, this fourth shrubbery, is the tallest and best of shrubberies in the land.
There appear to be no back doors. There's windows. People could obviously crash through the windows. They probably open from inside. The doors that you have are the main door and another door that's off to the side of the porch. It's a sort of porch that's further away from the horrible Nexu fish thing.
Are the
There's a
windows
second floor.
openable?
Second floor has windows. From inside, presumably.
So
Some
we
of them.
cannot. So we can't see a latch on the inside.
Nope.
Hmm.
You'd probably have to break one.
No. I think we can keep the windows intact, just not attached.
Other than the windows, there are no other entrances.
There's a... Hang on. Preload scene. If you promise not to look at the inside part... I wish I could actually make that be.
You could cover it with a
I know
shape.
what I'll do.
but-
I can.
Yeah,
Opaque?
but it's
How do I
a
opaque?
pain and it takes a while to figure out how to do it properly.
In that case, what I'm going to do is grab this. Oh, I have to actually make it. No, stop that. I'll do this. Okay, come on. Oh, why are you being like this? Stop it. Come on. Move that there. Do this thing.
Told you.
Grab this screenshot, capture, and let's see if I can paste it. No. All right.
Archbeth is typing.
Yep. Basically, the capitalized door that I've just done bad ASCII representation is the one with the porch that has the thing that thinks something's going to steal its meat. It's calmed down a little since you people went wandering around. There's a little side door that's off like a couple of rooms worth.
Is it locked?
Have you tried any of the doors?
Well, I don't think we walked too close
I
to
will
the
try
thing.
the side door. Oh, actually, I won't try the side door. I will stand in front of the side door and see if anybody comes. And if they don't come within a minute, then I'll knock.
All right. Nothing comes. Just standing there, nothing comes. The hissing thing is on the porch that's in front of the main door there.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just make a little roll for certain hissy things. Wow, you have bed. Nope. Missed by 7. Does not appear to notice you. Chomp, 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 hiss, 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 glare, glare, glare. You knock. Nothing. Going to
Okay,
try the
I'll-
door?
Try the door.
The door is unlocked.
I try to hide my disappointment.
No one here
The door
is letting...
is ajar. The door is ajar.
We screw it open.
Looks like well, it's kind of a large mudroom. It's got some chests. It's got some places to sit. It's got some leather hunting coats hanging on pegs near the door. It appears to have a wooden floor. It looks rustic. Someone has really gone into the idea of, wow, wouldn't it be rustic
Also, I
to do all of
appreciate
this?
that of all the buildings that we have seen in our lives, this one has a mudroom.
Mm-hmm.
Also, what do you say we take a short break?
I mean-
Can we hold for a minute? So, yeah.
Oh, okay. Take a break.
Yes.
And on that note, that you have finally entered the place, and because it's been a long time, we're going to continue next time. And thank you all for playing. Thank everyone for listening, who actually is listening and was joined tonight with Crash and Ellie and EO. And Ellie, what should people plug?
Well, Eos Mom writes books.
Elizabeth-mccoy.com. And you can ask your library to check out the ebooks and buy an ebook, and then you can check out an ebook for free. Ellie, this is your cue for the next one.
And speaking of websites,
Speaking of websites, that's where we put all of these recordings. You can go to aaronbsmith.com/cogwheel and subscribe to any and all of our podcasts individually or en masse with one RSS feed. And if you like them, I'm thrilled. We love for people to listen to these, and why not share with somebody else who you think might be interested in it? Now, if you really like what we do here and want to help us break even because web hosting is not 100% free, you can join our Patreon, patreon.com/cogwheelgaming to help us keep the lights on. You get these recordings as I finish editing them, as opposed to one a week. And you would join other illustrious patrons, including Chris, Ellie, Shanshan, Walter, and Patron Emeritus Cindy. And until next time...
It's like, hello? Is anyone there? Night, everyone.